Homie Connection Podcast, episode 18. You see who we with? We with Cannon.
I'm tired, son. I'm tired as hell. I'm trying to switch my sleep schedule. Got a new job and stuff, so yeah, man. Hey, screw the hospital. We don't mess with the hospital no more. It's over. You know, they harassed me, and on top of that, lied about me. I'm done with the hospital, bro. But hey, we on a new job. We got things striving. We living. We surviving. So let's get this episode started, man.
Hey, and just before we get this episode started, thank y'all for 100 subs. We at 140 something now, and we appreciate all of y'all that click that subscribe button.
All right, so the first topic today that I want to bring up is the Uncanny Valley, man. Now I stumbled upon it on TikTok, man. There was like this video showing like a bunch of like faces, and they all look like dead, bro. It's like weird, but like they look dead, but you can tell they aren't human. Well, the Uncanny Valley phenom can be described as an eerie or unsettling feeling some people experience as in response to not quite human figures like humanoid robots and lifelike computers. I know it really stemmed from like cartoons, and actually I don't know if you guys know, but Shrek, Fiona, they had to actually change her for the final products because when it first was released in theaters, kids started crying because of how realistic she looks.
The Uncanny Valley theory is a hypnotized relation between an object's degree of resemblance to a human being and the emotional response to the object. The concept suggests that the humanoid object that is imperfectly resembles an actual human being provokes the uncanny or strange familiar feelings, eeriness. You know how they say human intuition is always right? This technology is really getting to the point where our human bodies and our gut feeling is telling us this is not right. I feel like, to be honest, with the metaverse and everything, bro, seems really sketchy. I want to talk about the JFK Bullet Theory, bro. So, I don't know if y'all know, but JFK got assassinated in Dallas, Texas, right? I've been to where he's been assassinated. The actual street. They used to have a X, like where his car actually, like he actually got shot, like the exact spot. They put an X in the street. Have you seen a bullet on impact, how it gets like mushroom kind of? It didn't just hit JFK, it hit two people. It went through his head and then went to the guy who was right next to him. I believe it hit him in his stomach, right? So the bullet had no mushroom and it had no effect to it after hitting two people. And Biden recently was supposed to reveal JFK documents. They pushed it back.
Like they're hiding something.
They are hiding something.
Just so like they did with the aliens, bro. Like, aliens are real. Look how they push that shit back.
This theory is that the bullet wasn't actually shot. It was picked up by a government representative. How did the bullet get picked up by him? If it went through people, how do you pick up a bullet like that? He said he found it on the ground. If you look at JFK's speeches, he was exposing the government. He talks about the corruptness in the government, how the government isn't actually for us to succeed, it's actually for us to fail and for them to get more money off taxes. He was exposing them to the point that supposedly that they had to assassinate him. The man who supposedly killed JFK was killed on live TV. There's a video of him walking out of the Dallas County jail, and this government official runs up on him with a revolver and headshots him. Supposedly, he was supposed to start talking about how the government planned him to do this, and he was telling the cops that the government paid him to do it. This whole situation, him saying the government paid him to do it, and then him getting killed by a government official,
it all adds up. You know, with the training, they had to train him to do that. How you get access to a sniper? I mean, if you look where the guy come from, he wasn't really wealthy in a sense. So how would he even have access to the sniper? It just really makes no sense to me how like they knew what was gonna happen. A video on TikTok as well, where they tested out the bullet theory, and they shot this like mannequin. And even like the bullet through this mannequin like got damaged.
Got our entrance there.
Teresa Barza. She solved her own murder. She was born and raised in the Philippines. She was the only child in a wealthy family, right? She graduated from a college and then moved to the United States and earned her master's degree in music in Indiana. Music would play a large part in her life. In 1997, Teresa was 47 years old and seemed very happy with the way her life was going. She was living in Chicago, employed at Edgewater Hospital. She also decided to go back to school and was working her doctoral thesis. Loyal U University. What little free time she had, she gave her piano lessons out of her apartment. Monday, February 21st, 1977, had been a routine day for Teresa. She worked her normal shift at the hospital and returned to her apartment in the building at 2740 North Pine Grove Avenue around 7:30 p.m. She received a phone call from her friend, Ruth Loeb. The two had been talking for about 20 minutes. Teresa had told Ruth that she had to get off the phone because she was expecting a male visitor. Ruth didn't ask any more questions or any other details. At 8:40 p.m., a couple who lived down the hall from Teresa thought they smelled smoke, but were unable to determine the source. Concerned, Madrid and Catherine used to call to the building's janitor, and he immediately called the Chicago Fire Department and started evacuating residents. By the time firefighters rushed into the building, the hallway where Madrid and Catherine's apartment was located and repeatedly filling with smoke. Firefighters quickly determined that the source of the smoke was apartment 15B, Teresa's apartment, bro. They forced entry into her home, and they were able to extinguish the flames in minutes. Once the fire was out, they were horrified to realize the blaze had not been accidental. On the floor under a mattress, they found Teresa's body. She was naked and had a kitchen knife planted deeply in the center of her chest. Detectives were called to the scene and confirmed they were dealing with a homicide. It appeared to whoever killed Teresa had tried to blaze it in order to destroy any evidence of the crime. The murderer had thrown a pile of clothing on top of her and then lit the clothing on fire. Then placed the mattress on top of her and set it on fire as well. Though the fire had destroyed some potential evidence, police could see that Teresa's apartment had been ransacked, and it was clear a struggle had taken place. They were unable to determine if anything was missing from the apartment. Teresa lived alone, and no one was sure exactly what items she had in her apartment to begin with. It was possible that the robbery had taken place. Detectives combed through her apartment looking for any clues that might lead them to the killer, but it appeared the murderer had left no physical evidence behind. One of the few things detectives took as evidence was a memo that Teresa had apparently written to herself, reminding her to go get theater tickets for AS. Investigators had no idea who AS might have been. Homicide detectives spent the next several weeks interviewing Teresa's friends, co-workers, neighbors, classmates. She was very dedicated to her job, highly regarded her patience. Although she occasionally dated, she never had married anybody. With her work at the hospital and her music studies, she had no enemies. And there was no one that they thought would have been able to murder her or had that anger in their heart to murder her, right? During the course of the investigations, detectives learned a lot about Teresa's character, but nothing led them to any closer killers. Investigation really began to heat up in 1977 of July, when detectives arrived at work one morning and found a note on his desk asking him to call the Evanston police station about the murder. Intrigued, the homicide detective had information about the murder. He got in contact with Dr. Jose, a doctor who lived in the suburbs of Chicago. He provided them with the information they needed to finally solve the murder case, but in a way they never saw coming. Dr. Jose seemed extremely embarrassed to tell the detectives what he knew. After a few minutes of small talk, he asked them if they had any belief in the occult or supernatural. The detectives did their best to appear non-judgmental, but as they exchanged glances at what it clear they thought had come to Jose for no reason. Finally, he continued and told the detectives he believed his wife, better known as Remy, was also from the Philippines, and she had started having strange dreams, bro, involving Teresa. She had attempted to ignore them, but one day while she was sleeping, she had gone into a trance-like state and started speaking to her husband in a voice that wasn't her own. Dr. Jose told the detectives that Remy had appeared to be almost comatose while she was talking to them. He didn't recognize the voice she was using. The voice told him that was Teresa. He needed his help. She claimed that she had been murdered by a man named Alan Showry. She named him to the police. Alan had arrived at her apartment to fix her television that had killed her instead. She made another plea for him to go to the police, and then the voice faded away. When Remy awoke from her nap, she had no knowledge about what just happened. The following week, the same thing happened. Once again, Remy was sleeping and suddenly started speaking to Joe in the same voice as before. This time, the voice was angry and demanded to know why Joe had not yet notified police. Joe played along and told the voice that he was a doctor and very scientifically minded. He was not going to go to the police without any tangible proof to back up the claim. Annoyed with the voice, he needed proof, he said. Then she told him that he stole jewelry out of her apartment. And this is where things start really getting weird. Detectives go back to the apartment and look at that jewelry box. All the jewelry's gone. They figured out the man, Alan, actually did it, bro. He lived right near Teresa. He visited her at the hospital multiple times. His coworkers were really surprised with what had happened. They actually found him guilty. He claimed that he went into the apartment and that he stabbed her for no reason. These detectives couldn't believe that this scientist, this man named Jose, and his wife had these dreams, and it actually became true. This just shows that the supernatural is real. This case is solved. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Teresa Barza is her name. And
yeah, I just think that's wild, and that brings me back to like the theory that I said on last episode that I was on. Like I feel like there's a very rare occasion where you do just come back to this earth. And there's also been another instance that I've heard of also happening of a little girl finding her killer and shit, like helping her parents find him. But yeah, man, it's pretty wild. I believe in spirits and stuff.
Homie Connection Podcast. Today was a short episode. I'm sorry about it. You know what I'm saying? We just wanted to stay consistent. I didn't want to miss a week of uploading. Sorry about the short episode, but we appreciate y'all for subscribing, liking, commenting. I'll do that again for us. You know what I'm saying? If y'all keep doing that for us, hopefully soon we'll be able to get ads, get paid off of YouTube, you know, make content even better, make vlogs, make skits, bro. We're gonna do it all.
Yeah, like we really want to do this full time, so like please help us out. Like we really want to do this full time for real.
Giveaway coming soon at 1,000 subscribers. Like I told y'all, if y'all get us to 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna be giving away stuff.
Yes, sir.
Homie Connection Podcast, episode 18. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.